So, I've got some good news and I've got some bad news. Bad news first. Yeah, let's get that out of the way. You aren't crazy to think that the world is out to get you. It really is. You have been told to learn how to swim without being told that the water is poison. It's all true whether or not we're aware, whether or not we're looking, so we have to face it. We have to get real with what's real. I should start off by admitting that we are in the thick of destroying the world. More precisely, we have exploited and abused the earth so severely that she's sick. And we very well may tip our climate past the point where humans can be comfortable. We seem determined to knock our precious pale blue dot out of the Goldilocks zone, that cosmically precise sliver where humans can thrive. We burn and decapitate the forests that breathe for us, and we poison the oceans, the well of life that makes life possible. Dozens of species die out every day as we languish in the midst of an extinction event that we are causing. And the worst part is that we have known, or at least some of us have known, that we have been doing this. Global corporations have feverishly pursued the illusion of profit at any and all costs, dragging the rest of us into a consumerist death cult. Billions suffer so that dozens can live on yachts and fly private jets and even own their own islands. This death cult has turned everything upside down so that institutions supposedly designed to care for us now charge us for the privilege of being mistreated. Medical insurance that is supposed to pay for care now limits care and then charges nearly full price anyway. We sell our children into student debt even as we fail to invest in quality education. We are enslaved by debt. Most of the world does not even have reliable access to clean water. Over half of the world lives on less than $2 a day. When we think of slavery, we imagine chains and boats, but more humans are enslaved in this moment than ever before in the history of the world. We invest in death more readily than we invest in life. Yes, there's also the war and the violence and the tragedy, mostly human-caused. We have never been more connected, yet never have felt more helpless as we watch through our phones over the shoulders of our fellow strangers, our family a world away. We virtually enter their homes as those homes are bombed, as families are torn apart, as children flee, the lucky ones at least. And we can't forget the pandemic. Yes, I realize this sounds like an apocalypse checklist, all the horses, because it is. COVID has shown us both how we can cooperate as a world community and how much inequality still limits that cooperation. And this disease has shown us the limits of both our institutions and our ability to believe in each other, believe in science, believe in the worth of life. We are living out the trolley problem where people won't even put on a mask, let alone lean on a lever. 6 million dead and still going strong. Let's talk about America. Those corporations, yeah, they pretty much own our politicians, as too many are actively working to enact laws that limit our democracy, just as we are beginning to wake to the painful truths of violence and genocide, privilege and persecution, of assault and exploitation. We legislate denial and silence. We shout at each other so loudly that we have lost the ability to listen. We perform the forms of activism, but too few practice the hard actions of day-to-day justice. I don't know how deep our cold civil war goes, but I know that we dismiss ourselves and each other as a cultural right. And in the midst of this communication, a world wide and an inch deep, saturated by pixels and sound bites, we have never been more lonely and disconnected. Our despair is a matter of life and death, and too many are choosing death, whether slow or sudden. I know that hearing this is overwhelming, and I understand that in your day-to-day life, personal heartbreak and grief often makes none of this seem to matter. It's all you can do to pay the bills and buy the groceries. It's all that you can do to get through the day of work or wish that you had work to get through. Some of us are haunted by loneliness and others are haunted by unsafe relationships. Some of us are overwhelmed by the demands of relationships, whatever their status. And sooner or later, all of us learn that health is the most fundamental resource. I understand that it is all you can do to hold yourself together in this moment, or not hold yourself together. That's by design as well, as we are meant to purchase our addictions and distractions of choice. When misery drives the economy, wellness is an act of revolution. Hold on, listen. Hold up before you give up, because I'm getting to the good news. Are you ready? What could I possibly say after all that mess, right? I've just told you that the world is basically ending, that we are in a race to the death between cataclysm and innovation. We need revolution. We need renewal, and we aren't likely to right our civilization ship before it gets much worse. What could I possibly say after all of that? I can share the good news. The good news is there is an antidote to all of this brokenness and dysfunction. Ready? The antidote is you. You are the good news. You are already everything you need. Hear me out. You were made for this. The reason that we humans love quests and causes, stories of facing impossible odds, is because this is what we were made for. We as humans are anti-fragile. If something is fragile, you hit it and it breaks. If something is resilient, you hit it and it doesn't break. If something is anti-fragile, you hit it and it becomes stronger. You as a human are anti-fragile. Facing reality makes you stronger. As a human, you are already a hero. Don't worry, I'm not telling you to do more. The so-called wellness industry is also dissatisfaction and scarcity based. I'm talking about maximum benefit with minimal adjustment. I'm asking you to shift your perspective, surrender your stories, and pivot your practices. I want to spend the rest of our time together talking about the practice of plugging in. You already are enough. You already have all the resources you need evolved into you. It just takes a moment to pivot, and then you are in a position to at least begin training the practices that will allow you to thrive even in the midst of a desperate world. I can't make the problems disappear, and closing our eyes won't help. I can help you become strong enough to face the world, to face yourself, to show up to life. The way we think is a matter of life and death, because the way we think literally changes the way our bodies process experience. I'm going to teach you a few simple practices that help metabolize stress and process trauma. Your body has millions, even billions of years of wisdom programmed into it. Your body has secret troves of buried treasure. Your body already has the key, and in just a few moments, I'm going to tell you how to unlock those resources. We are going to talk about values, mindset, embodiment, and flow. What is your highest value? Funny how we don't have a ready answer until we really think about it. I'm not talking about the values you think you should have, but the values you actually have, the values that your day-to-day actions demonstrate. Elegant, efficient approaches to well-being happen to be my highest values. Now, next. If your value were a person, what would that value be like? You can imagine this as a friend, a superhero, a supernatural being, whatever works best for you. I'm pretty dramatic, so I have elevated my values to divinities, namely elegance, expedience, life, and integrity. Our brains are designed to overestimate agency, so this exercise will work better than you think. Next, check in with your mindset. We naturally happen to be resistant and avoidant like tantrumy toddlers. That's okay. It's gotten you this far. But we can do better. I suggest that we replace our tantrums with 6 words. First, compassionate, curious acceptance. Accept reality as it is. This doesn't mean approve of that reality. Just take seriously that things are as they are. This may sound stupidly simple. What's the alternative? But it turns out that most of us prefer toddler tantrums and avoidance. Accept what is. Be curious about why it is how it is. Then engage with compassion to see what should be done. Relatedly, cultivate wonder and gratitude. It's true that life is hard and we are doing a good job burning it all down, but life is also staggeringly beautiful and miraculous and sublime. It's everything all at once. When you wake up, say one thing you're grateful for out loud. Doing this will rewire your brain. And once you have your inner alignment set, you can move forward with clear, gentle firmness. Those are the other 3 words for those keeping track. Next, and perhaps most importantly, be in your body. One of the best ways to process out stress and even trauma is to simply be in your body. It sounds simple, but it is a challenging and powerful practice. So next time you're feeling stressed or anxious, take a deep breath, hold it, and then let it out slowly. You have just turned yourself off and on again. Breathwork is a resource that we always have access to. I hold my breath and let it out slowly multiple times a day. If you want to make it more powerful, put one hand on your chest and the other on your stomach as you breathe. And if people look at you weird as you're doing this, you can teach them the trick too. The next way to be in your body is just notice what your body is experiencing in the present moment. For example, the next time that you wash your hands, take a moment to notice the temperature of the water, the texture of the soap, or put your hands on your clothes or desk or something close to you and feel the texture and details. Here are 2 related body rituals. The first is to increase the power of your shower. There's a reason we have profound insights in the shower, because multiple things are happening at once. The routine, the relaxation, the vulnerability, the sensory experience. Showers trigger an altered state and even healing state that we can use. When you're in the shower, ask your body what it is feeling. Yep, talk to your body out loud. Whether your body is feeling joy or relief or stress or grief, say, I am allowing this feeling to flow through me. Then imagine that feeling flowing through you and down the drain with the water. Try it. This practice will add years to your life. Next, develop a ritual drink. We all know that we need to drink more water, and some of us may have a drinking problem. I'm proposing a drinking solution. What's your favorite drink? And what is your favorite time of week? Acquire the fanciest version of that drink, whether it's gathering water from your favorite stream or buying bottled instead of canned soda and getting something top shelf. Then buy a fancy glass or mug. You can drink your fancy version out of your fancy glass once a week. Your body will start structuring your week around this routine, and you will experience enjoyment and relief as you are able to savor your special drink at your special time. If drinks aren't your thing, we'll discuss substitute rituals. A final reminder, wellness is not a checklist. Wellness is a practice. Wellness is not overcoming the problems in your life. Wellness is developing a process that is sufficient for the problems in your life. Wellness is aligning with life in such a way that as we face each day, we become stronger, more able to face challenge, more able to live fully. As we engage in these wellness practices, the world's problems won't go away, but we become those versions of ourselves, those heroes who can be part of healing the world. But we don't need to heal the world to be well. With these simple practices, we can show up to each moment, be grateful for each moment in the way that makes sense to us. The purpose of life is to live it, but first we need to cultivate the fortitude to show up.